Hello Capricorn, welcome to your January 2026 reading. Oh my goodness, I mean I'm filming these still in December, but as I sat and shuffled the cards before your reading, I'm kind of feeling this little bit of anticipation, a little bit of excitement, and when I tune into the energy that I'm going to do the reading for, the sign that I'm going to do the reading for, I felt drawn as I shuffled these to, when I put them down, to look at the image on the card and just pick up a message for it even before we start. And so with you Capricorn, I've got this sense of gentle wonderment. Thank you, Spirit. A little bit of contemplation here, but it's very gentle and it's very centered and it's calm. Wondering what's coming in for you, Capricorn. What do you want to come in for you? But there's a sense here of almost this deep acceptance that you're going to accept what comes. And if it's not something that you were wanting or hoping for, or if it's something that you deem to be not good, in this image I sort of feel that you know that's a stepping stone to something better, or it's something that will show you a way, or show you a different way, or show you a different aspect of yourself. But there's this quiet contemplation, this wonderment. There's no joy or sadness, but there's this, like I said earlier, this anticipation. So I'm going to put these cards aside. I'm just going to pop them here actually so we can still see the image, because I feel like I'm going to get drawn back to that during the reading, but I'm going to use those cards as your final message. So that's the letting go or the let go deck, which I really like, and I think for this season, these times that we're in, the letting go is actually really important. So as per usual, we're just going to let come what comes. I feel like you've got, no, I was going to say half the deck, and Spirit's going, I think you're exaggerating, but we've got a good bundle of cards here. So let's have a look. Oh, I was almost going to shuffle these, and Spirit said, no, don't shuffle. And I was like, no, okay. Oh my gosh, Capricorn, I don't know how many cards you have here. Spirit's saying to me, don't freak out, Christelle, it'll all be good. Put these down the end. I don't think I'm going to have enough space. Okay, so we'll just get rid of those. We'll maybe pop these down here. So Capricorn, how are you? How have you been navigating the December energies? How did you feel you went? Is there any clarity starting to come through, or are you still shifting energies? Let's have a look. Put these down the bottom. Oh, thank you, Spirit. I was actually wondering if there was going to be as many cards for January as there was for December. You're my first sign, because we're in your solar return. So I start with the month of the zodiac sign that we're in, and Let's get this done. Thank you, Spirit. Beautiful. Okay. My goodness, Capricorn, are there messages? And I think it's because of this quiet contemplation here that we picked up early, and also the wonderment, I think. Okay, you're still shifting, you're still moving. There is still some, I want to say, anxiety, but let's get into your reading. So we start off with the King of Pentacles. We've got the 8 of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. We've got the Death card. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. We've got the Page of Swords, the Knight of Wands, 2 of Wands, 3 of Swords, 5 of Swords, Ace of Swords. We have the Hermit, the 9 of Swords, and the Empress. And then we have the 2 oracles, which is number 12, listen to inner guidance, wisdom dwells within, and number 15, ground yourself, be in your body. Very different colours, very different energies coming out of these, but both with a very similar message that's coming through for you is very much this going within. The guidance will come when you ground yourself. Yeah, I like this energy. I like this energy for January very much for you, Capricorn. Very, very much. So let's see. A spirit just drew to my attention that you've only got 1 cup. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. You've got 16 tarot cards, and 1 is the cups. Okay, you start off with a lot of pentacles. You go into the sort of wands and swords, but it is pentacles and it is wands, swords, sorry, that you have the most of. So let's have a look here. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So we're not starting at the beginning. We're starting with this 8 of Cups, and I feel like it'll be interesting to see when we go for these cards what's actually going to come out. And we will have a look at the imagery, because I'm just being drawn to look at the images on cards at the moment. I mean, I always do anyway, but normally when I use a deck, I don't use it like this, which is quite interesting. This quiet acceptance, this contemplation, the wonderment that is coming through. And by wonderment, it's this, a little bit of awe, a little bit of, gosh, I've changed, the world is changing, I'm feeling things differently, I'm seeing things differently, and there's awe in it. Because in the month of January, I feel that this 8 of Cups is what you are working towards, what you're building yourself up for, and what you're preparing yourself for. This 8 of Cups is very much, okay, I'm moving now, I'm moving on. And Capricorn, what are you moving on from? I feel it's something that's very tangible. So you could be moving away from people or things, situations. You could be moving away from jobs, homes. It's all those very tangible things in our day-to-day life. And I feel as well you're moving away from these swords. You're moving away from the chatter in your mind. You're moving away from maybe past ideas that you had about yourself, about others, about the world. But there's a sense here of how the swords is our mind, how our mind works. There's a sense here that that's changing. You're moving on from a perspective. You're moving on from a certain way of thinking that you realize no longer serves you. But there's a bit of a process in order to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to raise this card just up a little bit, because I feel like if you had a catalyst, I think this would be it. And probably the Empress as well, because I feel like that's what you're moving to. And the King of Cups, the King of Pentacles as well. Thank you, Spirit. I like it when Spirit gives me these kind of like signposts. I've been calling them. And there's almost a sense in your very tangible world, you're moving to more abundance. You're moving to a place where you can birth creative ideas rather than your mind work for you in a way that doesn't suit you. It's actually going to start to work for you in a way that it does. So what do we mean by that? Well, we can use our mind to worry about something. We can use our mind to reminisce about all our past hurts. We can use our mind to reinforce our negative beliefs about the world, about people. Or we can realize that, yes, those experiences were not good experiences. They were not great. But they brought you to the person that you are today, this King of Pentacles. And Capricorn, you are an earth sign. So, you know, this King of Pentacles is you. And there's a sense here that you are coming back to you. And the only thing that stops us from being ourselves, from being our true, authentic selves, from being who we always were underneath the noise, underneath everything that caused us to change because of the circumstances that we went through. That's all shifting. And Capricorn, you're not the only one. This is happening for everybody. I myself have felt a massive shift. I feel like there's a whole cracking open that happened in these last couple of months for me. And I feel more me, even though I've never been this version of myself. I feel more me. I feel like the masks have gone. I feel like I can shine my light. I'm still a little bit nervous about it, you know, because we worry, are we too much? Are we not enough? But we're being called forward, and I feel you are too, because, and we all are, so not just you are too, but this is very big in your reading, Capricorn. So I feel like this is something that's really going to come through in January for you. And that's because this Ace of Swords is the gift from the universe in the form of ideas, downloads. And with all these pentacles, the universe wants you to birth these into reality. And that's what our journey of life is bringing together our physical self and our soul, our mental, our intangible self, and bringing what is intangible down to the tangible. That's manifesting. And they want you to do this in a very big way. Look, we've got another little signpost now. So this is very tangible, and Spirit saying with this, I'll take these three. Spirit's saying, Capricorn, that in this energy, the King of Pentacles is very grounded in his energy. He's very steady, secure. There's a knowing here. Oh, sorry, that's one of the cats that I'm house sitting at the moment, coming out to say hello. I actually delayed my readings this morning. I was going to start much earlier, but he was kind of wanting a lot of attention, so he'd gone for a lay down, but he's back now, so I don't know. He shouldn't want to jump on the table, and I hope he doesn't, because it's going to mess up all my cards, but we'll see what happens. So Capricorn, this is you. And this King of Pentacles, there's longevity. There's longevity in the Pentacles. It's something that we bring down into the world. We make concrete and we build on it. Pentacles are our foundation. And this is the energy that you are grounding yourself in, Capricorn. And this is an energy that you feel comfortable with, because you're an earth sign, so you ground in quite well. But the thing is that you're being asked to ground in a different way. So this King of Pentacles, and the way you, because the kings also are of service, so they put out into the world. The queens receive and the kings give back. They give. So it's what we do in the world, how we are in the world. And there's a sense here with this Eight of Pentacles, which is, you know, all about your job, your career, your work, what you do, your hobbies even. And the Three of Pentacles, which is your craft. So they're a bit the same, but they're a little bit different. This is honing in on your craft. This is learning about it. This is the Three of Pentacles. Often for me is like the apprentice, or specializing in something. You know, working with others to hone in your craft. And there's a sense here that you've been working meticulously, but Spirit's now going to ask you to go back a little bit to the drawing board, and refine. You know, you've got 8 Pentacles here, you're going down to 3, so refine it. There's more intricacy in here than there is here. So there's a sense with working with what you have, working with where you are, but remember, you're moving on. So there is growth here, there is change here, Capricorn, and I think that's the thing in January that might trip you up a little bit. It's like, yeah, but I'm the King of Pentacles and I'm working the 8 of Pentacles, and you want me to kind of start again? Not quite, but to a certain extent, yes. And even more so is 8 of Cups. You're walking away from the 8 of Cups. You need to walk away from this 8 of Pentacles. Not completely. You're not going back to 0. Though, thank you, Spirit, some of you actually might be. Because Spirit said to me, yeah, but 8 and 8 is 0. And maybe that's where the anxiety is. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit's just said to me, that's how it's going to feel, that you're going back to 0. But Spirit's saying that, yes, in the tangible world, because here we're going to our cups, this is our emotions, this is what leads us to fulfillment. This is our fulfillment. And there's a sense here that you're almost being asked to leave something concrete behind in order to kind of go off a bit on a whim, almost, I'm getting. But then the very next card is the Knight of Pentacles. Now I want to say here, you've got the very male energies, the masculine energies. And they're very much the doing. So you are going to be asked to do things very differently. but you're not starting from complete scratch, because you have become somebody different. You are different. Every time we go through experiences, every time we try things, we are growing, we're evolving, we're re-evaluating, we're re-deciding what's in it for me now. This night is in the planning. The planning's all been done. The king's the doing. The king is of service. It's putting things out into the world. This night, the Knight of Pentacles, is the slowest knight of the tarot. In this deck, he's in movement, which I really like, because it means that you're not at the very beginning like you maybe thought you were. Though we do have the Page of Swords, so the ideas are new. Okay, but you've got two knights. You've got the slowest and you've got the second fastest. So once your mind comes into alignment, once you come into a certain understanding, and this creates a true ending with this Death card, you're going to find that there's a lot more tangibility with what you're doing. Okay, so I think a lot of this anxiety, a lot of this stress is this feeling that you're leaving something that's quite grounded and quite, there's a structure that's already been built for a whim, but it's not. As you progress, Capricorn, you will realize it's not a whim, because you kind of need to stop doing something and move away from something, which means Spirit's saying to me, it's literally stop doing that. Whatever, this is a general reading, Capricorn, so you'll need to apply these energies to your life. And Spirit says you'll know what this is. You'll know. And if you don't, this is where the Hermit comes in. Quiet contemplation, come back to your center, and you'll see it. You will see it. Spirit won't let you miss it. So this stopping almost brings you to a state where you can go, okay, hang on a minute. How have I been doing something? How have I, and this was, I was going to say, how have I been thinking about something, but Spirit said we're not there yet. This is the doing. This is the very practical, tangible world. Okay, this is not concepts. This is what have you been doing? What have you been trying to grow? Okay, and Spirit wants you to stop and have a look at it. You need to step away from it in order to look at it more objectively, because that will help you to realize, okay, do you know what? Either this is no longer in alignment, it doesn't fit you anymore, or there's a sense that you have outgrown it. It's not really what you want to do anymore. It's not really who you want to be, because this is out in the world, so it's not really the you want to present to the world. And you're going from the King of Pentacles, beautiful card, to the Empress. So you're aligning a bit more. This is tried and true, but it can be a little bit focused on the past. This is how we've done it. This is how we've always done it. This is how we're going to do it. And the Empress and this Ace of Swords is saying, no, Capricorn, no. New ideas have come through and you need to run with that. And that's what's going to bring this Death card. And you're going to see something that places you back in your authenticity. So the Nine of Pentacles, I generally see this card as you're independent, you're self-reliant. This is the individual card. So you're making this happen for you. But in your reading, I'm seeing it as a realignment. So this is you seeing you. Not as you were, but as you are now. And this brings you to the Empress. There's a change of energy here. Interestingly enough, with the 9, because there's that individual energy, that self-achievement energy, that self-sufficiency, even though it is a female on the card, it still has a bit of a masculine feel, not as much as the King of Pentacles, but it does have that masculine energy of you've been doing, this is the 9 of Pentacles that comes after the 8 of Pentacles, so you've been working, you've been putting things out into the world, and they have been successful to whatever extent it has been for you. But there's a sense here now that there's a reevaluation. I'm so sorry about the noise. I've got aeroplanes flying overhead. I've got the cat playing in the background. So I hope that's not too off-putting for you, Capricorn. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit just said, remember, everything that happens in the reading has a purpose. So be mindful with this 5 of Swords of distractions. And for some of you, you might actually be trying to distract yourself. So just be mindful of that. But this Page of Swords is telling me that you are getting these ideas. Look, the Page of Swords comes before the Ace of Swords in your reading, which means that you stopping is already going to bring you a change of perspective, a new way of looking at something, a new way of thinking about something. And that sets you on a path. Look, you've got your 2 wands here, and they're your only wands in your reading. But powerful. It sets you galloping off with this Knight of Wands in a very energetic, the wands are your fire, you know, the fire energy. And there's this passion, there's this momentum, there's almost like this here, oh my gosh, why couldn't I have seen this, you know, a year, 2 years ago? And you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going for it. And that brings you to the 2 of Wands, which is just opens up the world for you. It opens up your dreaming. It opens up your, what do I want? I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling, oh yes, kind of energy. Very different to this kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And I think with these pentacles and this wand energy, I feel like, Capricorn, you may have been a little bit stuck in the mud. And thank you, Spirit. A spirit showed me stuck in the mud, somebody that's feet are, you know, they've got gumboots on and they're stuck in the mud. But Spirit's saying it's more just stuck in your ways. You've trudging over the same earth. You know, you've muddied it up a little bit. And these wands that are coming in, this change of perspective, this looking at your life, looking at yourself with new, young, fresh eyes, has created this, oh gosh, there's 100 ways I could do this. which way is the right way for me. So there's renewed excitement, there's renewed oomph, there's renewed batteries, there's renewed joy. There's a will, a renewed will in you to kind of go, oh my gosh, I can run with this in such a different way. But then we've got this 3 and this 5 of swords. So with this 3 of swords, I'm kind of seeing the past, and this 5 of swords, I'm seeing the present moment. Because I feel like this Ace of Swords is the future. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So I'm going to read them all together. So what's going to happen here is in your present moment, there will be times where you think, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I feel the fire, and then it just evaporates with these swords into thin air, and I'm just left with air. Meaning for you, a very earth sign Capricorn, it feels ungrounded. It feels like there's nothing. So a lot of you are going to want to distract yourself in the present moment. Okay, so for some of you, that distraction can be thinking about the past, going, yeah, do you know what? I remember going off on a whim like this. I remember taking chances, and do you know what? No, I didn't like it. Maybe it didn't work. Maybe you didn't get to a place that you were hoping to get to. But Spirit's saying, those past experiences, Capricorn, were played out to a past you, with a past you, for a past you. Not the you that is standing here today. The you that's standing here today with this 5 of swords, this 5 of swords is picking your battles. Knowing when you've tried hard enough in one direction and when it's time to pivot. When you've come up against, now this can be people, this can be situations, whatever it is, and you're like, oh, okay, am I going to go into battle, or is this showing me that I need to pivot? For you, Capricorn, in the month of January, there's no going into battle. And if you find yourself going into battle, you're fighting for something that is trying to fall away. And I want to say, Capricorn, I know these are general readings, but that's a guarantee. Allow to fall away what needs to fall away. You're in refinement. Okay? You're taking what you have and you're going to refine it, but that means you have to step away. Now, some of you might feel that you've already been doing this refinement. You've been asked to do it more and more and more. But just be mindful of how your mind might take you to the past, or your mind might take you to times where it didn't quite work out. You weren't happy. There were disappointments in the outcome. And Spirit says, no, you know what? If you want to distract yourself with this Ace of Swords, Page of Swords. Distract yourself with, okay, I'm going to look at this and go, what can I do with it? Look at this hermit shining his light on this sword. I've got these new ideas that have come through. In the first instance, they really lit me up. They really got me excited. And then, of course, like with everything new, we're human. So when we've got this great project, you know, we're in fear and we're in excitement, we're in anxiety, And we're in like, I'm gonna just do this, and then we get doubts that pop in. So it's a bit of a roller coaster. And these new ideas will come almost left of field. It's almost like, well, you need to be paying attention, because if you're not, if you're looking at the past and you're not picking these battles and you're allowing yourself to dwell on what has been, what's come and gone, you could miss these little downloads. You could miss these little, you know, the hermit is quiet. The hermit slows down. And life is speeding up, Capricorn, so that might be hard to do. But slowing down is also what's going to help you avoid this anxiety. And this anxiety, I'm seeing it as, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do these ideas. That's because the Empress is last, Capricorn. But this Nine of Swords is the anxiousness of, yes, I can see these, but oh my God, what am I doing with them? How do I do this? There might be a little bit of fear of this letting go. How do I let go in order to bring the new in? Am I crazy? Because I don't know that I've ever said this before, but thank you, Spirit, will now remember to say it more often. With the aces, they're a gift from the universe for you, to you. And so that generally means that nobody else sees the potential in this. So you kind of a little bit, if you discuss it with others, they're going to be like, what the hell? And that can create anxiety as well, because they can't see it. This is your vision, your gift. And concepts are really difficult for people to see unless they've been through that before. You know, you might have people that understand, they might not understand your vision, but they've had to walk through their own vision, so they understand how we can't understand each other's visions when they're at this stage. But we can when it gets to the Empress. We certainly can. And this Empress here, Capricorn, is purely to say, you will bring it into the tangible. You will bring it into fruition. And, you know, the Empress is very grounded. She's a grounded energy because she grounds things into this reality. Thank you, Spirit. She births things into this reality. And now these cards make perfect sense. Listen to inner guidance. Wisdom dwells within. And ground yourself. Be in your body. In order to manifest, we need to be grounded in our body, because our body attaches us to this earth. And by being connected and grounded is how we can bring what isn't tangible into the tangible. I'm actually going to be doing a fair bit of work on how we ground into our body. This is something that I have only started to do probably in the last 4 or 5 days, and I don't know yet how I'm going to video it, but I am going to bring it out, and it's going to be a bit of, you know, how do we ground, how do we come into our body? And it's quite amazing how that works. So more on that later, but obviously Spirit's brought it up in your reading. So I've had to put this now out into the world. Something that I've kind of been thinking, I don't know how to do this. Well, now I'm going to have to trial and error, aren't I? Because I'm going to need to bring it out, because it's obviously something that is required. So yes, stay tuned. I'll probably bring those out in January, February. So bear with me. But in order, you're going to need both these energies. You're going to need to ground into the physical, so you can birth these ideas with the Empress, and you're going to really need to look at your inner guidance, because that's another reason why this Nine of Pentacles is here, I believe. It's because when we do have a concept that we want to manifest, we want to birth into the world, we are kind of alone in that. You know, sometimes we start by ourselves. Sometimes other people can come in to help us down the track, but sometimes, you know, we've got to start this on our own. And I really feel that's where you are. And I think that's where this sense of wonder comes in. You're kind of a little bit in awe of this process, even though you are a bit nervous about it. You are a bit afraid of it, Capricorn. And goodness me, that's perfectly understandable. So let's take this one, and I think you need those. So what have we got? You know, like I'm even finding there's that contemplation again, isn't it? There's that quietness, reflective, but beautiful energy. And then look at this. This is when you tap into this wand energy. This is that really, oh my gosh, I feel so free. I'm going to go for it. The image on these cards are just, the images on these cards are so beautiful. I love them. You know, and, you know, sometimes, you know, we can almost feel a little bit of worry. You know, and we do worry sometimes. And that's okay, Capricorn. Fragrant are the flowers that bloom when you smile and let go. Yeah, that's this wand energy. Fragrant are the flowers that bloom when you smile and let go. Eight of Cups energy as well. This letting go, stop and let go. Pay close attention to your patterns and let go of those that are merely reactions to life. Oh my gosh, Capricorn, I can't make this stuff up. This is this. Pay close attention to your patterns and let go of those that are merely reactions to life. And what has become comfortable for you. And then finally, stand in a garden and be thought free for just a moment. Stand in a garden and be thought free for just a moment. That's this energy down here. In order to bring things in order to understand them, we do need to just be still for a moment and just take it all in. And this is very much this inner guidance and ground yourself energy. Very much that. I'm going to leave you with those messages, Capricorn. I hope this reading helps you navigate the energies of January. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Take very good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.